Howdy folks, Joe here from Just Your Average Joe's EDC. So I wanted to talk tonight about a little pocket knife that this was one of the first I refurbished. This was, I don't know, something like number 3, 4, something like that. And it's from Germania Cutlery. Now Germania Cutlery was in operation from 1896 to about 1938. It was based in Solingen, Germany, which is also known as the City of Blades. I think that there are still manufacturers running out of Solingen, Germany. You can correct me on that in the comments if I'm wrong. Now, this is a little pen blade that I found in a antique mall for something around the $4 range. Now, when I found it, I did not know anything about it. I did not know the maker. I did not know the age. I knew it was a pen blade because I could get it open, but it was very rusted. And most of the scales were actually kind of in pieces, and the whole thing was in a little Ziploc baggie. So what I ended up doing on this thing was bringing it home and cleaning it off, and I was able to find the tang stamp. Let's see if we can get it here for you. Not focusing just real great, but it does say Germania Cutlery. Germania Cutlery Works, to be specific. Now, one thing I noticed about this blade when I was at the antique mall was just the level of walk and talk. Maybe this will work a little better. There we go. Isn't that better? Awesome. The level of walk and talk on this knife is insane. Listen to this. Listen to that snap. So the latest that this knife was made was 1938. So, I mean, you know, this is something, we're pushing a 90-year-old knife at the newest, and it has that level of walk and talk. I mean, I have new pocket knives that I have bought straight from the manufacturer, brand new, taken out of the box, that don't have that level of walk and talk. So it's clear that this company knew what they were doing. Now, these little celluloid handle scales through here, like I said, these were in pieces. So I did not have much experience at that point and in restoring knives. And I will point out now that I still don't have much experience. Blade Man 175 and the Knife Doctor, both on YouTube. I mean, check out their channels. They have a wealth of experience on doing these things. I am a journeyman that is just learning as I go, and that's the fun for me. Now, what I did at first, after initial cleaning of the blades and cleaning of the knives, underneath the scales, and then cleaning here on the back springs, was I attached these with epoxy. Now, the epoxy that I had, I believe it was like a Gorilla Glue or something like that. It was just what I had around the house. I had not bought any specialized supplies. Actually, right after doing this knife, I went and bought some specialized supplies because I didn't feel like I had what I needed to do it correctly. I didn't soak this in mineral oil or anything like that. I was WD-40 because it's what I had. And I put the scales back on and I clamped it and left it for a day or two, and then got it back out and started using it, fooling around with it, and the scales started to come off again. I just wasn't happy with it. And you can see here, there's several places here where it is cracked here. Most of this side was off and this side was off. So after that, I wasn't entirely positive what I was going to do. I decided just to go for broke, and I pulled the JB Weld out. And this was the beginning of my journey with JB Weld as a repair tool. I actually put the JB Weld underneath the scales, then put the scales on, then clamped it and let it sit overnight. So you can definitely see a darker streak here, here, there, maybe a little bit there. But the JB Weld did hold, and this thing is rock solid now. I've got clumsy hands, not great for this hobby that I'm into, but I've actually dropped this knife a number of times and no problems. It's worked just fine. But it did discolor this a little bit. So going in, if you're going to be doing these types of repairs, JB Weld is wonderful for putting it under the scales and attaching it to the body, and it gives the knife a little bit of weight, which I actually think is a good thing. But if you're putting it under a celluloid handle, you are going to have a discoloration. So you can see the discoloration from here to here, here to here. Not so much there because that was already pretty well established and in there. Here to here, here to here. And most of this side did come off, but for whatever reason, it didn't discolor as much there. Perhaps I didn't put as much JB Weld there or something. I'm not really for sure why it didn't discolor to the same amount. But I don't think it actually looks bad. Considering the age on this knife, it's some natural discoloration. It kind of looks like a little bit like a natural patina that you would get. It is what it is. I'm happy with it in terms of the usability of the knife. If I had to do it over, I would probably use this E6000 premium epoxy that I have since started using. But I did not have that at the time. I had JB Weld, and as you've heard in other videos, I kind of use what I have because, you know, none of these things are being resold. It's just basically for fun. I'm not adverse to throwing a couple up on eBay or something, but it's more like just getting a few bucks back to make more knives. If eBay had some sort of store credit system, I would be sending a bunch of these that I don't care about, you know, back in just to be able to make more purchases of more knives to repair and have fun with. Because to me, you know, I love the collecting part, and I keep the ones that I love. But, you know, who needs 3 TL29 knives? You know, you just don't. But this one, I actually love the walk and talk on it. You got to be really careful because you can cut yourself very easy. There's not much kick right here to be able to push the blade back, but you get a little bit. I love the walk and talk on this knife. It is so good. I wish they made them like this now. It's screaming sharp. It's a great fifth pocket carry. Like I said, I didn't carry it today, but I do think I carried it maybe Monday or Tuesday in my fifth pocket. I know I carried it this week or over the last weekend. And it's been a heck of a little user for me. A handy little knife. I kind of like it. I like to find more knives by this company. I do understand that they imported a fair number of knives into the United States, but of course you're talking pre-World War II. Something like 1896 to 1938 was when the company was in business. I would assume that most of the knives that were imported were from the, you know, World War I to before World War II era. So, you know, early 1900s to the, you know, late 1930s. You can find very little information on this company online. Basically that it existed, that it was there, that it made some knives, but I couldn't find anything about this particular knife, and there's no tang stamp that tells you a model number or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. If you know more about it, I would love for you to throw it in the comments, and I could, you know, I would be eternally grateful. But even looking in my collector books on knives, they've had virtually nothing on this. They've said that the company existed. They may have shown a knife or two, but this wasn't one. But it's a great little user. It's a knife I enjoy. I hope you enjoyed looking at it. As always, if you haven't before, please like, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. We're a new channel. We're trying to get viewers. We're doing this for fun, not for money. God bless. Have a great day.